Well, I got pretty much an Estwing axe collection here now. This one is one I'm going to highlight today a little bit, but I'm going to tell you what really kind of sold me on getting Estwing was I didn't realize what this hammer was. And I know my great uncle had this hammer, and I think he bought it back in the 1950s. And he was a welder for Curtiss Wright and aircraft. And he was a welder at home too. He knew all kinds of stuff with welding, and he used to use this hammer. And then my dad had it, then I had it, and I've had this for way over 40 years, and I've used the hell out of it. I used to beat out quarter panels with it that they used to say they couldn't be fixed, you know. Then I'd mud over them with fiberglass and stuff. But I never knew what brand this was, and it's an old Estwing. See that? It's an old Estwing. So I was looking at, I wonder if they still made them. And I says, well, yeah, they're still making them, and they're still USA. See that? All USA, every one of them. See that? USA, USA, USA. And the beauty of this puppy is, and I never had this rubber handle break on me. I think this rubber handle might, I know my hands are greasy as all hell. The grease doesn't seem to affect it. I think if you left that out in the sun a lot, that might break down the rubber. But this is good 60 years old, easy. So these are all solid handle, solid all the way through. This is solid up to here, and then it's tubular over here. You're not going to really break it though. And I was messing. These are, you could tell these are hardly used, but I was messing around with this one, and it comes with a nylon sheath. And to me, I don't know, I'm okay with the nylon sheath because I think leather just kind of rots, you know. But this one's got a nice thin cutting head like that, and it's got a nice balance on it, and this cuts through wood better than that one, and it's a hell of a lot easier to swing. But the reason for that is the shape of the way it's, you know, the shape of the cutting head. Like this would split better, and of course this is actually more of a wood splitter right here, but it's still a damn good axe. This one is, I think it's a 16-inch camp axe. You got your 26-inch camp axe. This was the framer's axe, and I made this sheath for it. Actually, just while I modified a leather sheath, I just put a 1/4-inch structural rivet in there to take up the room, the slack between it, you know, the head of the blade. This one swings nice too, man. It's like a hammer. It's a framer's hammer, basically, framer's hatchet. But this bad boy, to me, is one of your. It's something you can stick in a car real easy. You could probably fit that in a car, no problem. And I had this one in my little Suzuki Samurai, but it's pretty much worthless as a damn hatchet. It's, you know, it's got the paracord on it. It's got the fire starter. It's only $10. But this is about $38. That's what it was. Maybe that's not the retail price. I noticed I used to think that was how you remove it. That's not a snap there, that's a rivet. So you pull the sheath off like this. And I've heard that these handles, these I was a little hesitant about getting the ones with the leather washers, because I was thinking, does the leather hold up as long as this? And because this one held up. I mean, I'm not using it every day, but I use it often. I don't know, it's 60 years old, man. I heard, but then again, maybe this leather does hold up better, because under severe use, if you're using it every day, I heard this leather actually holds up better than this. Real severe use. And what you could do is you could probably clear coat it again, and as long as the leather doesn't get wet really bad, and you got some clear coat on it, just spray it with some Rust-Oleum double hide clear coat or something, or dunk it in clear coat. You know, as long as it's got that shock absorption, who gives a crap, right? Now, I guess the leather would probably last forever. And the only dumb warning label on here is it says, don't smack metal with it because you might chip it. I was like, yeah, really, no kidding. Don't hit no nails with this, you might chip it. It's kind of like a legal thing. But you can tell the balance on these axes is nice. This is a one-hander. This one, you probably could get two hands on it, but it's really one-hander. This one you could go one or two hands. This is the two-hander axe. But every one of these axes is, let me put it this way. One thing I always can't stand about axes is the freaking handles, the overstrikes. You fuck up the handles. Even this one with the tubular handle, if you hit an overstrike, it's going to hit here at a solid spot. I broke so many handles on axes before, splitting wood and cutting wood. And they always seem to, and I never had no $150 Swedish axes or nothing like that. I got stuff from, you know, the hardware store, man. It used to be Stanley Hardware way back when, before Home Depot and Lowe's was around. And they were pretty good axes, but these, you see, for the everyday guy, this is the kind of shit you want. Like, in other words, so what was that, 38, 43, so 80 bucks. I don't know, all these together might be 175 bucks, all four of these, right? Now, you can get yourself a Swedish axe that's maybe 150, 160 bucks, and it's going to be better than any of these axes, but it's not going to be that damn much better, and it's probably better to have 4 axes than it is to have 1. So, it's kind of like, let me put it this way, the Estwing, and I'm not a fan of Glock, by the way, but because it's not that I think Glock is bad, but, you know, I got my opinions on the safety of the Glock trigger, you know, but it's a great gun, right? These are almost like the Glock of the axe world. That's how I look at it. They're just good all-around axe. It ain't going to fall apart on you. It's going to always work and all that kind of shit. And it's not because I'm a guy that just loves the shit out of Glock or something, because, you know, I'm kind of a 1911 old school guy, but I just want to make that kind of comment as an analogy. These are practical, man. These are practical. For the money, you can't beat this shit. I don't see how you can destroy it. You see, like I said, what really impressed me was this one. I've been using this since I was about 18, 20 years old. And sometimes I used it a real lot. I mean, this is my go-to hammer, man. Right here, man. And there's been overstrikes on it and all this kind of crap. I've been using it for 40 years. It's about 60 years old or so. And I know my great uncle used it a lot doing his own personal welding. You know, he used to weld for Curtis Wright, and as a professional welder at Curtis Wright Aircraft. I don't know what kind of, he knew all kinds of shit with welding. If he did aircraft repairs or whatever the fuck he did, I forgot. I don't know exactly what he did. But he used that at home. And then my dad had it, then I have it. For freaking 40 years, man. Over 40 years. That's what impressed me about getting Estwing. And I was like, they still in business? They still, yeah, it's making USA and all that shit. Now me, I'm not a real sharpener connoisseur. I just use this damn thing. The pull-through sharpener. But I get them good enough to work. I mean, that's me. I'm just everyday Joe. I'm not like, you know, if I'm out here freaking, I'm a woodsman, I'm doing this shit every day, fine. Now, when I'm up here, when I get up on my Tennessee property, there's loads of woods up there. It's got a bunch of acres. And that's what I'm figuring I'm getting these things for, because man, I got my chainsaw and shit, but there's a lot of times you can use an axe instead of a chainsaw. And especially if you just want to cut one little thing, you don't want to be grabbing a chainsaw or grabbing a gas and all this kind of shit. I want to have various types of axes with me, because I think these are going to get a lot of heavy uses when I get up there to Tennessee. So a lot of freaking woods up there. Just going to be, you know, cutting wood for fires, for you know, heat. I don't know, might be building some crap out there out of wood. We're putting some metal roofing on it though, and I'm going to be using these things a lot. And I figured this is pretty much the no frills good shit. And I'll be taking these too, because these are good. These are better. That one will split wood a lot better than this, but this one is way easier to swing than this one, and it cuts wood faster. And that's because of the shape of the head. It's got a nice balance on it and all that other shit. These are all good axes, man. And you're figuring what I paid for 4 axes. And I guess, you know, like I said, you know, if you're using an axe every single day, maybe you want that $200, $150 Swedish axe, right? Those big names. But these are good for everyday Joe. Like I said, it's kind of like a comparison with the Glock or something. You know, the Glock is good all-around pistol, but, you know, it's not the best pistol in the world, but it it works great. You know, it's reliable as shit, does the job. That's kind of like what these are. And I'm saying that as a guy that's not really a Glock fan. That's the only reason I'm not a Glock fan, is because I don't like that. I'm more of a Glock fan if I was a guy that definitely was in a cop or in the military, where you're walking around a Glock. To me, that thing don't really have a safety on it worth a shit. I mean, it's trigger safety. What the fuck good is that? I'd rather have the push up the slide and pull the trigger or some shit, or push up the safety on the slide and pull the trigger, or the lock and cock 1911 for carrying, because I don't know, but if I was going to be in a situation where you had to use that shit right away, I'd be fine with the Glock with the trigger like that. But how often do you actually use a pistol, right? So, but the thing is, it's not like these aren't the best axes in the world, but for value for money, man, these are the best everyday axes for average people. You can't beat this shit, and they're all made in USA. This puppy's probably going in my El Camino. So it says 14-inch Sportsman's axe, leather grip, nylon sheath. This is 16-incher, I think. This is 26-inch. This one here. It's the framer's axe, and all I sharpen them with is that. But in this kind of crap, this was only $10, but it ain't worth. Well, it's better than no axe, but you don't want to use it. You're better off keeping something like this with a separate fire starter and your own. You wrap some paracord around here or something, and skip this bullshit. You're better off not buying that crap. That was a Wally World purchase. I don't know why I just threw that at my little Suzuki Samurai SJ413 Suzuki thing. That's all that shit's for. But this here is probably going to El Camino. Sure, keep it locked up and hidden. You never know when you need an axe, man. You never know. It's a handy tool, and it's small enough to use like a knife, right? Pretty close to sharpness, not too bad. Use a little more sharpness, and they're all clear coated out of the factory, so they shouldn't even rust on you. But they got some pretty good steel in these. These don't rust too easy. They sharpen up pretty good. And like I said, I just use that damn thing. I ain't no fussy person. That's good enough. That thing gets them good enough to work, man. That's the way I look at it. And I used to use the belt sander on those suckers, and I never used a stone. I don't go to town, man. I'm not, like I said, I'm not a guy that uses this shit every day, but I do use it once in a while. I have used these a little bit, this one here especially. But they work good. They work good.